Also, go up and change it over to x equals and make sure there's nothing in there that you need to clear out first. That will screw up the graph. And then change your shade to just be inequality intersection. And it should look like that. Alpha y equals, we change it to inequality intersection. So I'm going to make mine 100, 200, 300, 400, 700.
Yeah, does yours have shade on it?
Yeah, if yours is not shading, you have one of your inequalities backwards more than likely. Both of your inequalities less than or equal to. So in graphing, just like last time, we still have to get actual points. So how do we get points out of our calculator? What? Second graph. And it's going to be pretty tough to find nice points, maybe. So you kind of have to scroll through the list a little bit. Zero, 320 for your Y1. So 0, 320. Be right in there somewhere. What? Should be 320. Think.
Yeah, so that, I got both on your qualities right, so I'll show you.
Okay, I'll have to look at it a little bit.
Check your X. Check your X.
So 0, 320 is a point for this first line that we're graphing. What's another point? It may be tough to get them out of here because you're going to have to do an awful lot of scrolling.
240, 160.
240, 160. And that's going to be a tough one to graph. That's probably the intersection.
Yeah.
Right in there somewhere. Another way to get them, though, is find your x and your y intercepts. We already did the y-intercept by making x 0. You can also make the y 0 and solve, find another point actually on your x-axis. So where would that one cross? 320 times 3 halves, or 320 over 2/3. 320 over 2/3. So 480 is where that one crosses the x-axis. So however you get your points, you gotta get 2 or 3 points off of each line. So if that was the only one we were graphing, if that's the only 3 lines, again, we've got these 2 lines, and now we've got that line. If that was all we were graphing, we would shade inside there and be done, but we still got to do the other line. It's probably a good idea to label this the one you just graphed. You can either label it by writing out the inequality that it represents, or you can just put Y1 since that's the first one you plugged in your calculator. And then the other one's pretty simple to graph because it crosses at 400 on both axes. And that one you would label Y2. That's what it's called in your calculator. So we graphed our lines and shaded our feasible region. That's where all the possible solutions are. So we could not make, we chose a point up here. That point right there would say that we're making 400, we're making 400 short sleeve and 300 long sleeve. That's what, and you don't have to write this down. I'm just kind of showing you what we're doing. But we can't make 400 and 300. That's impossible with the constraints we have on it, with the amount of labor we have and the amount that we can package in a day. We could not make that point. That's why it's not in the shaded area. But any point in here, 100, 100, for instance, we could make 100 of both shirts. That would fall inside this area. That's a possibility. You could just go to work that day and say, all right, everybody, we're making 100 each. That would be possible. You have enough labor hours, and that wouldn't be over your package amount. But that wouldn't give you the most profit. It's a possibility, but it wouldn't give you the most profit. One of these points, one of your vertex points, just like we did last time, is where your maximum amount of money is at. Those are the 4 you have to check. Which one can you probably cross off because it's not going to make you any money? Or 0, 0. This point right here, you're not even making any shirts. You can't possibly make any money. Still a vertex point, but you're pretty sure going into it that's not going to be the one to make you the most money. So what are the 4 vertices? We know 0, 0. What was this point? 0 what? It's not 300. 0, 320. What was this point? 400, 0. And then this point, the one in the middle. That's where you'll have to use your calculator to 240, find out where they intersect. 240, 160. Now, just a little side note. Again, last year, before we had these calculators to use, you could not tell where that crossed just by your graph. So you had to come down here to the side and either solve simultaneously or substitute for one of those inequalities up there to find out exactly where they cross. Just again to let you know how fortunate you are this year. So we check those points. What would this mean that we're making? 240 short sleeve and 160 long sleeve. This one would mean 0 of each. We're not making anything. This would mean we're making no short sleeve and all long sleeve. And that last one would mean we're making 400 short sleeve shirts, no long sleeve. The question, which one will make us the most money? So where do we plug these points in? To your objective statement. What you're trying to maximize, clear up here in step 1. That's where you're going to plug in all of your points, see which one gives you the most profit. Step 4 was the shading and finding the points right here. So we are on step 5 now, figuring out which one gives you the max. So plugging in that first point, what do we get for a profit? What? $520. There you go. $5,200 is how much we would make if that's the choice we go with. We don't need to put in the second one because obviously that's going to give us no profit. So let's go ahead and go to that third point. So if we just make 320 long sleeve shirts, what? 5120, and then if we just make all long sleeve, I put that in there backwards. But what do we get that one? 4,400. Yeah, I say that backwards. Should be 11 times 400. There we go. So what should we do? Right. So then your final answer here make 240 short sleeve and 160 long sleeve. That is the final answer to the problem. So if all you were worried about was making the most money and that's the only factor, you would tell your employees, this is what I want to have be made today. 240 short sleeve and 160 long sleeve. And then we go down there to that last question. Explain why the factory manager, that would be you, why would you decide to produce a different number than the ones getting the maximum profit? Right. Where might you live? Hawaii. You probably don't sell a whole lot of long sleeve shirts there. Or you might live in Colorado or Alaska or Antarctica. Probably not selling a whole lot of short sleeve t-shirts there. Right? So there are other factors that you would consider. Just because 240 and 160 would make you the most money, it's not going to do you any good to produce a bunch of long sleeve shirts if you're living in Hawaii. Questions on that one? Go ahead. I'm going to give you one of those type of problems to work on in class.